morning. Joe Morgan, 2063 Rent. So I just wanted to point out how things work around here when things want to get done. We often have a group of cities that we compare ourselves to, like our peer cities, when we want to do contracts or raises or talk about sales tax or, other comparable things to make sure we're competitive with these cities. But on this item, it's pretty odd because we have like a whole entirely new set of peer cities for this. Our new peer cities for this one are San Bernardino, Rialto, which I understand is in pretty dire straits, San Dimas, Apple Valley, 29 Palms, La Puente, and Norco, which I've never heard us compared to any of these cities for anything. But when you guys want to raise the franchise tax fees for the waste haulers, you want to justify raising them and say, well, hey, everybody's doing them. I guess you have to go all the way to La Puente, Norco, 29 Palms to come up with a list. Where our normal list would be Murrieta, which is at 10%. We're kind of benchmarked against Rancho Cucamonga, Fullerton, Brea, Riverside, Ontario, Colton. I don't see those on the list. So if it was really something where we were trying to find out where we were in the rankings and we're going to be comparable to our other peer cities, it seems like we ought to be using the same peer cities that we use for other things instead of just looking around the entire state of California to justify raising something. So, I'm sure it's going to go through, and I look forward to you mischaracterizing my remarks. Thank you.
Mr. Moody, can you explain that, please?
Sure. We reached out to Waste Management on this item, and one of the things that we looked at was the commercial industrial. I can't say that all of the cities that we normally compare ourselves to for salaries and other benefits utilize Waste Management as a waste hauler. This list was what Waste Management provided us, so that's the current standard of what we used. These are cities that Waste Management serves. I would have to confirm if the other cities that we normally compare ourselves to for salaries and benefits and other such items are served by Waste Management or some other waste hauler.
Thank you. Mr. Montanez?
Thank you. And I know there's other things that, and I didn't go through the total cost, but if you go back and look at Redlands, for instance, which I would say is a fairly comparable city to ours in income and sort of size, they added a huge fee onto their trash because they said the trash trucks were tearing up their street. So rather than spending money on street maintenance from the city's budget, they added it onto their trash fees. So they didn't add it to the franchise fee, they added it a different way. So you have to look at the total costs and a lot of other things. And so there's more than just the franchise fee that has to be compared to. So,
Mr. Talbert.
I just wanted to point out that oftentimes the resident will misconstrue the facts. In the comparable cities, it was noted that Rancho Cucamonga, who we normally compare ourselves to, wasn't noted. You'll see that 3 or 4 from the bottom, Rancho Cucamonga is actually at 15.75, higher than, and it's one of our normal comparables. And as pointed out by Tom, we can only compare other cities in which Waste Management is servicing. They don't service every city. They don't service Riverside, I don't believe. So there's a number of reasons these cities show up because they are in proximity to us, and we can only compare folks who are literally using the same type of service. So to that degree, I think we've tried to create a transparent comparison. You can see that we fall in the middle of the lineup. We're not at the top. We're not at the bottom. But we are heavily impacted with the amount of road miles we're traveling because we do have fairly large lots in South Crow and everywhere else. So we do have a lot of traffic on these larger trash haulers, and this is literally just us trying to keep up with that. So to that degree, I think we've been very transparent, and I hope that you can see that as well. If you have any questions, let us know.